In this video, we're going to look at how to set up the sales pipeline in Capsule CRM. And when the pipeline area is set up in a way that supports your business, it is a game changer. It will mean that you will convert as many leads as possible. You will give your prospects and your potential clients the best experience from the off because it's so important. They need to know how they're going to be looked after when they actually become clients. All of that will encourage more opportunities to convert into actual pieces of work. So let's dive straight into Capsule and have a look at how to set up the pipeline. So here we are in Capsule and let's go straight to the sales pipeline area. So what we can have are our milestones in Capsule, and then we have tasks and things that we do to move the opportunity from one milestone to the next. Milestones they give us are really good actually, but if we wanted to tweak them, then we would go to our name top right, click on account settings, and then we'd go to sales pipeline. And if we click on sales pipeline, these are the milestones that are given to us: new, qualified, meeting, proposal, negotiation, and contract. So verbal agreement is one that I've added in already. I like to change new to new inquiry. I think it makes more sense. And I don't have qualified because I think we qualify the lead in a meeting or a call. So I tend to archive off the qualified and change meeting to meeting/call. And then we get to the point where it's either not going to happen because we've qualified them out or they are interested in receiving a proposal. It's always a good idea to set up a meeting to go through a proposal rather than just send a proposal out, but it's still a milestone within the sales process. Negotiation is to be part of the proposal process, so I tend to archive off negotiation. I add in verbal agreement because it means that at that point we're starting to create the contract, send the contract out, and hopefully that's when they sign it. Perhaps pay an initial invoice. The work can start. So they are milestones, and what happens is we have an opportunity in a particular milestone. Let's create this for Joe Blogs, and we might have an expected value, say, of £1,500. Always put in an expected close date because the graphs will need that to actually create themselves, and we press save. So here we have an opportunity, and what we can do is we can pick that up and move it along the sales process, or we can change the milestone from within the opportunity. We can actually duplicate the opportunity as well. So if you do have some quite complex ones and you want to duplicate it, then it's an absolute game changer. It really saves time. We also have a list view, and in this list view, we can dice and slice. We can drill down into different opportunities, and we might do that by having different tags or by having different custom fields, which would appear at the bottom here if we created any. So let's have a look at different tags that we might want to add into our pipeline area. So we go to account settings, tags and data tags, and then we go to opportunities. And on the starter plan, we have one sales pipeline. So if we have 3 different services that we offer, then we might have a tag for each of those services. If we're on the growth plan, then we have 5 different pipelines. The sales process is quite different, then do create different pipelines for each of those services. But let's just add the tag interested in service A. Copy that to save time, and we'd add second tag interested in service B and maybe interested in service C. And then what we can do is just add that tag onto that opportunity. And then when we come to drill down, we can drill down by tag and just see the opportunities that are tagged with that tag. If we want to add some custom fields, then a good custom field to add on to an opportunity would be a free text field or a list source of opportunity, because it could be different to the source of contact. We may always make it searchable. Another good custom field that we might have on an opportunity might be a date field, and it might be the date of initial meeting. And we might want to make that important, which is a feature on the growth plan, and we would press save. And what we can do with the date of the initial meeting, we might have a template that would pick up the merge field, date of initial meeting, and keep reinventing the wheel every time we did the follow-up off after that initial meeting. A really good area of the sales pipeline with tracks. So we can have a track for each of the milestones, and a track is a series of tasks. So we might want to have some tasks to follow up after the initial inquiry, to send a particular email, asking them to book a call or to sending some information. We could put that into a track. We might then have a track on the second milestone, which would be meeting slash call track. And we would create a track to check to see whether they'd booked a call with us and then maybe follow up after that call. And then we would have a track for the next milestone, which would be proposal. So that could be schedule time to create the proposal, arrange the proposal meeting, send proposal, follow up after the proposal meeting. And then the verbal agreement track would be create the initial invoice, create the services contract, create the contract. And then the track for the contract one would be check contracts being received. And then when it has, to maybe set up a project to actually then deliver the work. And the idea of the tracks is to have a track for each of those milestones, because if you're on the growth plan, you get workflow automations. And what you can do is automatically add a track to a milestone. And then when the last task is ticked off, you can automatically move that opportunity to the next milestone and then automatically add a track. So tracks are really simple to create. You create an opportunity track, and this would be a new inquiry track, and we would add a task. That'd be something like send the hello email. And then you could use a particular template to do that. And you might do that one weekday after the track has started. The category there would be email, and we can add different task categories in here. And you might have opportunity owners receiving that task, or you might actually have a different user on the system to send that email out. But you just add, and then you'd add the next task, which would be back question mark. And that could be a couple of weekdays after the last task, and that could be a follow-up category, and then you'd add that in. And then you would have maybe meeting booked, and that could be a couple of days or one day after the last task, and that could be maybe a meeting category, and then add, and then click on save. And then you'd have an opportunity track for the meeting slash call milestone, and you would add a task which could be something along the lines of prepare for meeting. Perhaps there's certain things that you need to do before you jump on that meeting, and you might have that one day after the track starts, and that could be a meeting task. And then you might have follow up after meeting. And you might have that, say, 5 weekdays, because you just don't ever know when that meeting is going to take place. So this could be a nice backstop track, could be meeting again, or we could have another task category, which would be follow-up meeting. And then we would add that and we'd click on save. So we'd have a track for each of the milestones within the sales pipeline, and we would add that track on. If we were manually adding tracks, we would just click on add track and we'd click on new inquiry track. And then tomorrow we'd receive a notification that there was a task. Once we tick that off, the next task would kick in, and tick that off, and the next task would kick in. If we were using automations, that track would be automatically added for us when we create an opportunity, and when the last task is ticked off, then the opportunity would be automatically moved to the next milestone for us, and the next track would be automatically added for us. And when the opportunity was won, then we could automatically create a project as well. So the pipeline capsule is absolutely brilliant. It gives every opportunity the best chance possible of converting into an actual piece of work, which is so key right at the moment with the economic climate as it is. So do use tags and data tags and custom fields to really make that part of the system your own. Think about the tracks, think about your sales process, what you need to do to move each opportunity along from one milestone to the next. Automations are absolutely brilliant. If you're on the starter plan, you want to upgrade to growth, and all of my clients get that upgrade with a 50% discount for 3 months. So let me know and we can get that applied for you. But I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you enjoy using the pipeline. But let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.